to the Office Corner with H.C. Campbell. Each show is packed with news, author interviews, specials all about you, the author. And now here's our host, H.C. Campbell.
Hi, welcome to the Office Corner with H.C. Campbell. As always, I'm your host, H.C. Campbell. I'm dressed up because I'm trying to get my workout on and trying to get ready for today's grind, to get ready for these summer new crop of shows. My special shows are almost already been taped. My music show, my comic book show, everybody, the interviews are together, my health show. I'm doing a bunch of shows this summer. But I'm also got my regular shows. Today I have an awesome lineup for you. I have a wonderful bunch of people. I have Anthony Pathfire. I have Romona Jackson. I have Shamekia Dean. All great authors, entrepreneurs, visionaries, playwrights. They do it all. So when we come back, we're going to start the ball rolling with Anthony Pathfire.
When the Office Corner returns, we will start the ball rolling with multi-genre author Anthony Pathfire. Then we'll have a wonderful conversation with entrepreneur Shamekia Dean. Then finally, we'll round things out with author Romona Jackson. Then later, H.C. Campbell will give his commentary about new writers and rejection. Stay tuned. What is H.C. Campbell Production, you ask? It's a collective of editing services, books, promotion, and more. Find out more about these services in addition to shows and columns at www.hdcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
So you believe the Bruce Williams story concluded in How to Lose a Black Woman? Well, Bruce Williams begs to differ. Find out what's been going on with Bruce Williams in the sequel titled Geraldine, coming soon. Do you need a manuscript edited? Perhaps you need a press kit or some ghostwriting done. H.C. Campbell Productions will offer the most professional services at the best price. We also do book trailers, publicity, newsletters, and more. Check out more in the online marketplace section on my website at www.hdcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Welcome back to the Office Corner with H.C. Campbell. It's a rainy Monday afternoon here. I'm brewing some coffee, just got off the phone with GPA. Been talking about a lot of stuff, and basically you get to see the interview on a future show. I believe my next show. Stay tuned to my website or log on to Facebook for details. My first author I want to bring about today is Anthony Pathfire. Much like myself, he's a multi-genre author. He's a very deep brother and knows more about the writing industry. In fact, I love it when people talk about the writing industry. In fact, speaking of the industry, I'm part of a writers group called The Industry, where he talks about how we as authors have a lot of power in what we write and what we sell. And so without further ado, here's Anthony Pathfire. Why don't you start by telling me what got you interested in writing and what influenced your writing?
Oh, okay. I've always been a writer ever since I can remember. As a kid, growing up writing short stories, poetry, etc., etc. But I read a lot of James Baldwin, guys like that, Ralph Ellison, those guys, and it just stuck with me. It was just something that I always wanted to do.
Okay. And how old were you when you first started writing?
Well, to be honest with you, my first short story I wrote, I was somewhere around 9 years old, because by then, I read a lot of Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, etc., like children's books like those. And I basically wrote my first short story at 9 years old. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So this actually influenced the genre you put together now. See, that's why I love that. I love that. So now tell me what happened from the time you started writing all the way to your first published novels. Have you written anything in between?
Yes, I have. I've written several articles on breast cancer, African Americans and their plights in the inner city. I've even written a few articles on fast food and how it affects the black community. Basically, Burger King, McDonald's, etc., etc. And how we're more prone to be at health risk, where we don't exercise a lot, et cetera, and healthcare in our communities are not on par with other communities. So, yeah, I've written articles such as that, essays, I call them.
Okay. Now, I want you to, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm going to ask now. I will need you to give me all of your titles, starting with the first title, and give me a synopsis of each.
Okay, my first title is Fair Game. It's about a young lady who was sexually molested by her father. And the reason for me writing this is because as African Americans or Black Americans, we tend to sidestep certain things or brush certain things under the rug, so to speak. We rarely speak about sexual abuse, things of that nature, so especially from a family member. So I wanted to bring that to the forefront. So she basically was abused by her father after the death of her mom. She travels to New York City with her best friend, and she gets involved in a few situations where it wasn't nice at all. However, being the person that she is, that she was well schooled as a young lady, she enrolled in college where she falls in love with one of her professors. And he's crazy about her. But she had to make a decision as to whether she wanted to be with the professor or the people that she met when she first arrived in the city. So it's like a back and forth between her as far as who she'll take to be her lover. And you'd have to read the story to get, substance of it, but it's a back and forth thing as far as emotions are concerned. It's a roller coaster ride. She also would later confront her father about the sexual abuse. She definitely did. And the turnout for that is something, again, the readers will have to find out for themselves, because I put a special spin on it. The second title is False Pretense. It's the sequel to Fair Game. Okay? That entails her going through all the difficulties with the professor, her other lovers, and the people she came in contact with. The third title is Many Consequences.
Okay.
It's about a young man whose father basically left the family when he was at a young age. And I basically based the character somewhat after me, because I'm from Jamaica originally. And he's a Jamaican American living in Harlem. And he ends up getting involved in a certain lifestyle. And he has to come to, he has to face the reality of what he wants to do with his life, with his father leaving, who basically let him on the path which he took. And it's a coming of age story, so to speak, as a young man growing up in Harlem. The next title is New Blood, and that's a paranormal. It's a vampire story, and it takes place in the early 1600s. So I had to do a lot of research. Where my main character, he originally was from Africa, and he was from a privileged family, and he was a seafaring guy, and he was captured. He was captured after the boat he was on with his partners around the ground. They were white. So when he was captured, his captors told them that they could leave. But they held him and sold him into slavery. So I had to do all that research to paint that picture and eventually he's bitten by a vampire. Because I feel these vampire movies going on, and I've never seen any black characters other than, like periphery. They don't play the major role. But this guy, he plays a major role because he's bitten by his nature, and he becomes his right-hand man, so to speak. And it's a love story. It's a love story where he finally finds his mate, which was his wife prior to him being bitten. And there's a lot of emotional conflict that went on. But there's a historical side to it because, again, a lot of research was done. So the reader will, if you're familiar with history, you get a introduction into the time period. And also, I have a good friend who's from Romania, and she's also an author. And she was the one who basically fed me the history of Romania and Transylvania, Dracula, etc., etc. So I incorporated all of that into the storyline. The next title is Untold Tales. It's basically a book of short stories, multiple short stories. You'll find drama, romance, betrayal, love, the scorned lover, etc., etc. It's, I'll probably say around anywhere from 10 to 15 short stories involved. And finally, there's Unleashed. Unleashed is a sequel to Deadly Consequences. I just released that. The funny thing is that when I first wrote Deadly Consequences, it was 400 pages. And I thought, I don't think it's a good idea to release or have a book out with 400 pages because some of those readers might get bored just to sit down and read 400 pages. So I said, you know, I'm going to make 2 books out of it. And that's what I did. I just queued the ending and started anew and just finished. So that's it. Right now I have 6 books that are available at Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that actually leads me to my next question because you have a lot of books out, which, I mean, as an author, that's understood. You are a very busy man. You're a writer, you're an author, you're a proofreader, you're a contributing writer. I mean, how do you keep all that together?
It's love, brother. It's love. When you love something, it's not work. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Because if you love what you're doing, then it becomes like second nature. You know what I mean? It's second nature to you. Because as you mentioned, I also review for the urban bookstores. I review other authors' works and write a review for them. And everything combined is just love. I just love what I do. Seriously. There's no secret recipe or anything like that. So when I hear other people talk about, man, how do you do it? I'm like, what do you need? This is natural for me. So yeah, I just find the time. And it's also about discipline, as you well know, as an author yourself and as a radio host and everything, because you know you have to juggle a lot of things. So, yeah, it's discipline. Discipline comes in. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, see, I bring that question up because I too wear a lot of hats. I just want to hear it from another person's point of view. I actually love your quote, and I hope you don't mind. I actually just posted that quote. Basically, if you love what you do, it's not work. Because it really isn't, to be honest with you. So, so I'm putting you on the spot as I interview you, just to let you know. So I mean, but no, that I mean that's all pretty good. So your newest novel, when was Unleashed published? I mean, when was it released? I mean.
Unleashed was released about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
It was released a week and a half ago, yeah.
And how's it been received so far?
Well, to be honest with you, I have no qualms about it. I can't complain because you and I are both on Facebook, and I just wanted to add this. Most of my readership on Facebook, folks, period. I can honestly say that. Most of my readerships are from people, ordinary people out on the streets, from Amazon and from Barnes and Noble. So that's my core group, and so far so good. I have no complaints. Of course, I would want it to be better, but I can't complain right now because it's following the same trend like I've been doing for a while now. You know what I mean? So I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh no, you're fine. In fact, I went to before I go on. I just want to say, I mean, I don't, basically, you're so soft spoken and so humbled. It's like, your book could be blowing up. You wouldn't even tell me. You just, I like that. The fact that, it's like, oh, it's doing okay. I can't complain. It's doing okay. But no, but that's the thing. As an author, I like the fact that you're humble. Because see
Well,
that, but that's,
you know what? I think it comes with who you are as a person because, again, you and I both know that this is hard work. And this is work that you have to love in order to get it done. So, in that sense, you have to be humble because there is nothing else. Let me put it this way. For me, it's in my DNA. That's the way I've always looked at things. Just being humble about yourself and just being the person that you are. I think that will take you a long way because it works for me because I'm not trying to be anything else other than me. So when my humbleness is displayed, it's not something that I'm trying to put out there. That's just naturally me, and I thank the Creator for that. So yeah.
okay. All right. Now, I'm switching gears for a second. Tell me about what Firestorm Publications, the firm in which you published under. How did you start your relationship with that?
Okay, it was a combination of myself, Brooklyn-born, also Brooklyn-born, authoress Beverly Pimples Rowley. We came together and we decided since so many additional publishing houses aren't paying us any attention, so to speak, let's just go ahead and start this publishing company ourselves. And we went out and we did everything, licensed it. We had to license everything and just put it together. We just basically put it together ourselves. And now we have a editing department, a review department, and we just basically worked on it, and it's been a blessing so far. Yeah, we just came up with the idea to just publish ourselves. And again, as you know, it's hard work because you have to do everything yourself. Everything. You have to get your ISBN numbers. You have to get it into Barnes and Noble yourself. You have to get it into Amazon yourself. It's the hard work. You have to speak to these individuals and these corporations yourself. Everything is done through you and your company. It's not like someone else is doing it for you. So we had to go out and basically work it, so to speak. Get involved and put it together. And that's what we did.
I tell people a lot that if you, just writing the book is not even half the battle. So if you just got a bunch of books here, you're gonna have to move these books, which means you're gonna have to do the work. So no. So I'm in full agreement. And from personal experience, I know. So it's like, trust me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, people ask me all the time, well, why am I not moving these books? Well, what have you done to move these books? So
yeah. you as a writer, and again, I hate to use it as a cliche, but as a writer, if you love what you do and you write the book, that's the easy part. The difficult part is marketing it, going out there and getting it out there. Yeah. You know, so
which means
it's a lot of hard work.
I'm sorry. No, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
And, you know, and that just means physically getting up and getting out and beating the streets.
Yeah, because there are times when when I was in New York City, I had to get up and get on the grind, so to speak. I was up at 125th Street by the Apollo Theater in Brooklyn on Atlantic Avenue, in the Bronx and Fordham Road. You know what I mean? I had to go out there. Whether it was cold or not, I had to go out there. I had to get on the grind. So it's a lot of hard work, and people are looking at you strange at times. You know, they see you out there with books and it's freezing, and they're looking at you like, dude, it's cold. What the heck? You know, like, what the hell are you doing? And you're standing there. You're standing there at your table with your books, with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and you're just trying to take care of business.
You know, you remind me of a news story and it could well be you. I'm not. It could be well because you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because and about a guy who basically is on the street corner selling his books and doing very well at it. I'm afraid. Story could have been about you. But I love that.
Well, it's all about getting your product out. It's all about doing the things that you need to do, because a lot of people think it's a get-rich business or you're going to get rich, but it's not. It's just about, for me especially, it goes back to the first question you asked, why did I start writing it, and things of that nature. And for me, it's just the love. I have so many stories that I just want to get out there that people can read, and some way, somehow, if it can help them along the way, hey, that's it. It speaks for itself, because that's my goal. You know, that's my goal. You know, to inspire somebody. You know what I mean, and get them on the right path, so to speak. Yeah.
See, that's why I love that how you say get them on the right path. Because because that's basically what we need to do. I'm sorry. Well, my next question for you is, do you have any more books on the horizon coming up, or any ones you're working on?
Oh yes, I do. I'm almost finished with a radio fair. And I would just like to give you a snippet of synopsis of it. It's about a young lady who was in a marriage where she was so-called a second fiddle. And she got away from her husband. And she's basically on her own. She's college educated, an aspiring writer. She gets involved with a friend who introduces her to an established author. Okay? Now, here's a spin. There's some recent killings in the city, and law enforcement has dubbed it the West Side serial killer. Okay? Well, I don't want to give away too much, but
yeah, they got me hooked already though. I'm already hooked. I'm already hooked. Because you along the lines of what I write. So basically, you hook me a serial killer. So
yes, because you know what? I sat down and I was thinking to myself, wow, you know, as as writers, we have we tend to come with different stories, and we have all these stories in our heads. You know what I mean? And why not write something where a writer is involved in certain things that people would normally, think they would be a part of. So here's this guy. He basically is running around doing other things other than what he's supposed to do as a writer. And it's a seesaw battle between the police, himself, and my main character, who's involved in this whole thing unknowingly. And she has to decide how she can get away from it without being held responsible for some of the things, that took place. So it's filled with drama, tension, romance, hence the name, Arabian Fear.
Yeah, I like that.
So, and I'm also working on another one called Treasure. Treasure is, I'm like halfway through it. It's based on three sisters who were raised white. They grew up in a black family who passed as white, and they've been doing so from the Reconstruction era, where the family was light enough, passed as white. However, the oldest sister is telling the story to her two younger sisters, and she's letting them know this is the family secret. And the two sisters are basically surprised because they're now finding out that they're not white. They're black, plus there's also an identity crisis going on with the sisters. So basically, they're hearing these news and at the same time trying to find themselves. So again, historically, you'll find out, you'll see a lot of stuff about the Jim Crow era, which I put in there. And it takes place in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That's the time period for the story because it's the elder sister who's telling the story. And that's it. And I'm working with author Brooklyn Bourne on a story called Five Borrows. It's a story about these military guys who were in Afghanistan. And Brooklyn Bourne is a former Marine himself. So he basically dictated how that would take place as far as the guys in Afghanistan, Iraq, etc., etc. And these guys, they return to civilian life and decide to rob 5 Brinks trucks in New York City, hence the 5 boroughs: Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island, and the Bronx. So they want to hit these Brinks trucks at the same time because they deliver or pick up the monies late at night. These are the huge Brinks trucks. They pick up these monies late at night, and they want to hit them all at the same time, throwing the police off, because while they're going to this one in the Bronx, something's taking place at the exact time in Brooklyn. So that's basically the crux of the story, and we're working on that. That should be out by probably August of this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my next question is: do you have any events coming up for Unleashed, or anything else coming up, like signings or any events?
Yes, I'm in the process of getting some stuff together done to get some things done for Unleashed. It's in the works. It's not finalized yet, but it's in the works. Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. Now, how can people contact you, get to know you, buy your books, so forth and so forth?
Okay, first of all, you can go to my site at Anthony Pathfire. That's all one word. Pathfinder dot Wix, W-I-X.
Okay.
Yeah. Dot Wix.
Right.
.com.
And what's on your site?
/
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
/ Anthony Pathfinder. Yeah.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because I cut you off. I apologize.
Okay. That's all right. Anthony Pathfinder dot Wix .com / Anthony Pathfinder.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, and you can also get it at Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, etc., etc.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now my next question, and like many of my authors, you've been doing this the whole time, but I want to ask: do you have any final words for anyone who wants to write, who are trying to get to where you are, or who just wants, or who are just basically trying to get to where you are right now?
That's a great question. The first thing is, do it. If you decide that you want to put something out, do it. Secondly, do your research. Research. I can't say it enough. Because right now, it's very difficult as far as traditional publishing houses are. They are not signing anyone. So chances are you'll probably you will likely be self-publishing. So in order to do that, you have to do your research. You have to get the ins and outs about the business. Write. Just keep writing. Once you have done your research, then go for it. Go for it, because there are a lot of folks who take advantage of people. I'll give you an example. Check this out, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You do know that you can get a catalog number anytime you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there are some folks who will charge you anywhere from $60 to $90 to get these things.
But something they can do themselves for free.
Yeah. There's also copyright factor, where, let's say you have 3 titles that you want to publish, A, B, and C. Okay? You can take those 3 titles and put them under one umbrella and call that one umbrella My Books. Okay? And you can copyright them for $35 instead of copyrighting them for $35 each. Okay? Now, a lot of people, they don't share this with others because they want to make that money. So they'll tell you, I'll do the copywriting for you. Okay? And what they'll do is, they'll charge you that amount and do it for you, especially if they're publishing your works. Whereas you could have went to the copyright site yourself and just put your 3 titles under one umbrella and pay one fee of $35, and bam, you have your stuff copyrighted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and here's also a friend of mine spoke to me last month, and she asked me how much I would charge to put her book in ebook format. And I said, what? She was like, how much would I charge her? I said, I'm not charging you anything. I said, you can go to Amazon and upload your manuscript free. You just have to be correct where you're editing. Everything is correct. Everything is polished. Go there and upload it. She was shocked. She said, are you serious? I said, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. These are the things that I'm talking about. There are some folks who will not share these things with newcomers okay, I'll charge you $250 to $300 or $500 to put it in ebook format for you. And what they'll do is take your money and you forward your manuscript to them, and they go to Amazon Kindle and just upload your manuscript.
Something you could have done for free.
Exactly. So this is why I say to people, do your research. And finally, just try and stay away from, stay and network with people who share the same interest as you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said this was my last question, but I had one more question to ask that I forgot that's been weighing on my mind because, like I say, you're very deep, you're full of knowledge, and you're just pretty much so. Well, you're pretty much so giving a lot of good knowledge here. I just wanted to ask your opinion on something, and I've been getting it from a lot of authors lately. What do you naturally feel about competition among the African American published community?
Okay. Another great question. All right. If you're talking about the African American publishing as far as street lit, because it varies. Okay. If we're talking about street lit,
well, basically just all of it as a whole, but yeah, I mean we can use that as an example.
Yeah. I'm just gonna break it down in little individual sections. Okay, let me put it this way. For the major black publishing houses, okay, it's very difficult to get signed by one of these publishing houses. Your work has to be well polished, and you have to know what it is you're putting out, because the major black publishing houses are very rare. There aren't a lot of them. So you have to be on top of your game. Okay? Now, because I'm not quite sure, but the research that I've done has shown that in certain genres, there aren't any African American publishing houses, like in paranormal works, crime, suspense. There aren't too many African American publishing houses there. Where you find African American publishing houses is in street lit. Okay? Now, street lit, that's another story, because you have to be basically, your story has to be the grimiest, so to speak, to be picked up. Okay? Chances are, and I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but chances are you either have to be shot, jailed, had 3 or 4 baby mamas, multiple children, etc., for them to sign you or even market your work, because it's like if you haven't done any of those things, you're not quote unquote keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem. African American publishing houses in a whole, though, you have to be determined. You have to get your work out and keep on trying, because there aren't too many of them, and the ones that you find, you're very selective. So you have to know what you're doing.
Okay. Pretty deep interview, pretty informative interview, but he's right. You just have to do it. Also, too, Don't always, if there's something you can do for yourself, do it for yourself. You have the most powerful tool. If you have a PC with internet, you have a powerful tool to do research. You can do research on me, do research on your favorite authors, my services, other people's services, or whatever. So yeah, definitely do your research. Know your markets. That's the other thing that he stresses. Anthony has a lot of things going on, and you can check him out at the website, anthonypathfinder.com. We'll be back next with Shamekia Dean.
When we return, we'll be back with author, entrepreneur Shamekia Dean.
Check out all the latest titles from HD Camera Productions before the new title is released. There is something for everyone. Have a romance, track down a killer, or stop an international incident. Check all of my titles at your favorite bookstore or at Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, or discounted at the online marketplace section at www.htcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
What is H.D. Campbell Production, you ask? It's a collective of editing services, books, promotions, and more. Find out more about these services in addition to shows and columns at www.hdcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
So you believe the Bruce Williams story concluded in How to Lose a Black Woman? Well, Bruce Williams begs to differ. Find out what's been going on with Bruce Williams in the sequel titled Geraldine, coming soon.
Welcome back to the Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell.
Welcome back. It's very dreary outside, but it's nice and rainy, and it's cool, and it's very relaxing. Still got the coffee on deck, and we're just here enjoying these interviews right here. The next person I want to bring on deck is Shamekia Dean. Just like Anthony Pathfire, she has a lot going on. She's an entrepreneur. She's got a book coming out. She's got like a number of things going on. So without further ado, it all out there. You're an entrepreneur. You're a wife, inspirational speaker, evangelist. I mean, you're basically what I classify as superwoman. You need to tell me how you do it.
Well, you just have to really pace yourself, prioritize. Make sure that you spend that time alone with God so that you can be directed and so that your steps can be ordered. Because if, He's not first in my life, then everything else just goes haywire for me. I can tell you that it's truly God, because Shamekia cannot do it alone.
I love that. I definitely love that. So because of that, let's start at the beginning. How old were you when you first felt you wanted some type of success? And how did you go about getting that success? And the third part of that question, what was your first business venture when you decided to go after it?
Well, when I was a little girl, I used to tell my mom all the time, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich, But then, of course, when you begin to grow up and things happen in your life, sometimes those dreams can die. But I would say that me having my daughter at the age of 15 is what got me back on track as far as achieving the goals and dreams that I desire in life. I refused to be a statistic, So I just had to decide at that moment what was it going to take for me to not be a statistic and to show my daughter that regardless of the mistakes that are made in life, you can still overcome those. So my the first thing that I did outside of working a regular 9-to-5 was when I wrote my book. And that kind of just opened a platform for speaking engagements. And I was introduced to health and wellness consulting just last year, actually, in November. So I haven't been doing that very long, but I've been very successful in it in the 5 months that I've been in it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna hold off for a couple of that here in just a second. We're gonna break down one thing at a time, okay?
Okay.
All right. First things first. This is the author's corner. So basically, I want to first talk to you about your book. What's the name of your book, and what's the brainchild behind it?
The name of the book is "But What Did God Say?" The book was birthed when I was going through a very hard time in my life. I was going through something in my marriage. I was going through things on my job. I was dealing with things from my past, as well as dealing with things with my children. So each day, as I was going through those things, God began to give me different words of encouragement, things that would, motivate me to keep going and keep moving. And I was just writing a journal, which is what I'd done pretty much my whole life. Writing was my outlet. And I was writing a journal, and then he told me to write a book. And at first I said, I don't know how to write a book. I'm not long-winded. I can't write a book. And he told me to go through my notes and through my journal, and he just picked out certain things for me to compile, and the book was birthed.
I love it. I love it. And how long has the book been out?
Last year in February 2012 is when it was published. February 28th, actually.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. My next question is, with all that you've gone through, when did you have, with all that you've gone through, with all that you're doing now, when did you even have time to write the book?
In those late night hours, when everyone's asleep.
Because I'm glad.
Sometimes early in the morning. So just in between times is when I find time to write.
Because I'm just gonna push that label on you again, Superwoman. So basically, it's like you have to write a book. When you do it. That's just wonderful. I love it. So my next question is, I'm switching gears back to business now.
Okay.
I'm going to go one company at a time. First, tell me about your company, Artist, and how did that get started?
Okay. Artist International is a health and wellness company, #1 company in nutritional products and reshaping garments. This company focuses on those things that mean the most to me, which are family, faith, and lifestyle. Most of all of our products are all natural. So they're using what God created to heal the body, to help people to lose weight, to restore health, and just to help people look good. We have 5 different lines. We have a skincare line. We have a Go Green household product line, weight loss, nutritional products, and the reshaping garment line. So, all in all, we have the leading products in the industry kind of all combined within one company.
Okay. And how well has it been received so far?
It's been received very well. Actually, the Body Magic garment is a medical garment that was created by an orthopedic and an engineer. So it's actually a medical garment that drops you instantly 2 to 3 sizes when you put this garment on. Now, we have one for women. We also have one for men called the Men Abdomen shirt. And like I said, when you put that thing on, you drop 2 to 3 sizes. So the result and that instant gratification is what really grabs people's attention. And it's like, wow, I can get in the size 14 dress and I'll wear a size 16 or, a size 18 and I can get in that 14. So it just really helps them to get that instant gratification. And then they're able to work at those weight loss goals because now they have something to look at and say, this is where I want to get, this is where I want to stay. So it's easier for them to maintain those weight loss goals.
Okay. And what are your most successful product lines?
The most successful is the Body Magic garment, the Men's Abdomen shirt, and the Red Levine, which is an awesome, powerful fruit drink. It tastes really good, but it's all natural with a combination of the 5 most powerful berries in the world that produce the most antioxidants. And that's very good because the level of antioxidants in your body determine how long your natural body is going to live. So not only are you're able to lose weight with this product if you so desire, but in all, it really promotes the overall health of your body. So those are our 2 #1 selling products.
See, I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I have a lot of friends who juice, and that's the reason they juice, because they want something that gets rid of a lot of antioxidants. And if you actually have a juice that does that, that's wonderful.
Yes, exactly. And it's all natural, and that's the beauty of it. It's natural, so you don't have to worry about those long-term side effects or anything like that.
Okay. And where can people log on to learn more about your products?
My site is artist, A-R-D as in David, Y-S-S, life.com, and then / Shamekia Dean.
Okay. Now, my next question is, you have a business coming soon called Blue Eyeshadow. Can you explain that, or is it too early?
No, the Blue Eyeshadow is actually already established. I'm co-founder of that company. My business partner, she's the founder, Tony Valencia. We went to school together, so we've been friends for a very long time. And as she was creating the company, she said that God placed it on her heart to make me her business partner. And with this company, what we do is we travel and we do women empowerment seminars. We have a theme that's called I Am a Masterpiece. And that is what we use, because we are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. And we want women to be empowered, enlightened, and encouraged, and help them to look past what they went through and past the barriers and obstacles, and still be able to be entrepreneurs, still be able to, be what you would call a superwoman, So that's what we do. We travel and we just do conferences once a year in different areas to empower women.
Okay. Well, now, my next question, switching gears again, please tell me about your testimony that led you to become an evangelist.
Okay, my testimony, and I tell people all the time, I say my testimony runs deep, but for God be the glory. I was raped twice. By the time I was in the 5th grade, I was also fumbled, by another adult by the time I was in the 5th grade, which then led to me going down a path that was not nice. I went down a path of promiscuity at one point. I began to, drink and party and want to try, drugs. I also was a teenage mother. At the age of 15, I gave birth to my first child. My father, who may rest in peace, he was on crack cocaine my entire life. And my mother, she was not able to be there for us as she would have liked to. So she worked 2 or 3 jobs to take care of us at one point in time. So I had to really grow up fast. I had to be an adult. And a lot of people don't understand, but when you're raped, it scars you in so many different ways. And even if you forgive that individual, you forgive that person, there's so much residue left from the rape. I dealt with low self-esteem, and my self-esteem was so low until I couldn't even tell you what my skin complexion was because I refused to look in the mirror at myself. I battled with depression. I ended up in relationships that were physically abusive, emotionally abusive, mentally abusive, because I was searching to validate myself because my father wasn't there to validate me. And in my mind, I felt as if I was raped twice and fumbled a 3rd time, my father wasn't in my life, that something has to be wrong with me for no man to find me valuable enough to not hurt me. So then, like I said, I just began to fall into the wrong types of relationships, the wrong crowds, and it just led down a very dark path in my life. And for many years, I struggled with my self-esteem. So I struggled with depression. I struggled with fear because I was raped, in the middle of the night. So that spirit of fear just clouded me. And it took over me in so many different areas of my life. I was just fearful of almost everything just because of going through that rape. And at this point in time, I can actually look into the eyes of a young woman and I can tell you instantly if she's been molested, if she's been raped, if she's been in an abusive relationship because of what I've been through. So although it's tragic, I'm so blessed and I still see the good in it. I still understand God's purpose, because your pain and the afflictions in your life are directly correlated with the level of anointing and with the level, that God is going to use you to impact the world. So I know that God allowed it, but it was for a greater purpose. There's purpose in my pain, and I understand that now. So that's why I continue to strive to do what it is that I need to do for the betterment of other people, because this testimony is not just for me. It's for those who God attaches to my life as well.
Okay. I just want to just go on ahead before I do my next question. You were delivered so you can actually give a positive testimony for people.
Exactly.
All right. My next question is, all right, now, how long have you been delivering your testimony as an evangelist?
Since 2011. I was licensed in January 2011. I wasn't giving that part of my testimony at that time, but I can say when we did our Women Empowerment Seminar last year, September 2012, is when I first began to openly give this part of my testimony to other people. Because a lot of times we can do things prematurely. Mm-hmm. It's not the time for us to actually open that door because we haven't truly healed. And when we open the door too soon, it's like, you have a sword that hasn't healed all the way. And it's like picking at a scab. So it makes it worse, and then it takes it longer to heal. So God had to make sure that the residue was gone, and that I truly had forgiven all those involved in everything that happened to me before I was able to open that door and start to be, that voice to help deliver other people.
Well, also, too, your true testimony to where you'll have to do it in God's time, not yours.
Exactly. Because God has plans for us. He has plans for us to prosper. And Jeremiah 29:11, that's my favorite scripture. That is what has kept me motivated throughout my whole life and throughout everything that I went through. I can always go back to that scripture. So like you said, it's a time and it's a place. And we can't rush God's process, because if we do, then it's going to crumble. So we have to make sure that we are being led, and then we're moving only when God tells us to move, and not because other people think that it's time for us to do it.
Okay. Question is, what got you doing, when were you inspired to do speaking engagements?
When I wrote the book, of course, people want to know. My mentor, Sarah Houston, he said, people want to know what's on an author's mind, what's on a writer's mind. And so the book just really opened the door, because actually when I was a young girl before I got into high school, I wanted to speak. I wanted to speak in front of people. I would always envision myself speaking in front of large crowds. But like I said, the spirit of fear was upon me, so I was fearful of speaking. Well, when I wrote the book and people began to ask me about the book, then I was able to go and talk about it, so it made me more comfortable. I understood that, because of my passion, it was easier for me to talk about the book, and it was easier for me to get in front of people. And also with ministry, that was another way that opened that door to help me overcome the fear of speaking. You start out small, and the more you do it, the easier, the easier it is for you. So it was the book. The book did everything for me. Like I said, God had a purpose, and he knew once I wrote that book that I would be able to overcome that fear of speaking.
Okay. All right. How can I get to know you through your ministry, your business, to get your book? How do I contact you? What are the various sources I can get to know you at?
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at Shamekia Dean, also on Instagram at Shamekia Dean, and then on Facebook, Shamekia Dean. I also have my author page, my fan page, and it's facebook.com/motivations by Mika. So I'm actually starting a movement called Motivations by Mika, and that's what I'll be using for my motivational speaking career. That's the tagline that I would be using, is Motivations by Mika.
Okay. And what's your web addresses for your author page and your business pages?
My business page is theartistlife.com/Shamekia Dean. And then my website, at this time, I'm actually working with a company to create my official website, but it will be shamekiadean.org is what it's going to be.
I love it. I love it. Cool. Now, here's the thing. I know you've been giving testimony all throughout this interview, but I need to ask, do you have any final words for anyone just for anyone who's struggling right now, who's going through what you've been through now, or anyone who's just trying to overcome?
Yes. Of course, like I say, I always bring it right back to Jeremiah 29:11. God thought about you. He had plans for you to prosper. So no matter what you have had to endure in your life, what we have to realize is that we have to marry the struggle. We have to fall in love with the struggle. And I say that because if we fall in love with the struggle, no matter what comes our way, we'll keep it moving because we know the struggle is going to come. Trials and tribulations are inevitable. We know that they're going to come. But it's what you do when you're faced with them. Even if you're fearful, face them with fear, but do it. Just continue to push forward and push hard no matter what it is you're going through, because everything that you have had to go through, there's purpose in it. There's so much purpose in our pain. If we just realize that and focus on that and continue to say, okay, Lord, I may not like it, I don't understand it, God, but I trust you, because you said all things will work together for the good of those who love you and who are called according to your purpose. And Lord, I know that your word is not in vain. So everything that you said for my life, every promise that you made for me, it shall come to pass. So I just want to encourage you to continue to strive towards your destiny. Don't focus on your situation, but focus on your destination. And as you focus on that destination, guess what? You're going to push for it and you're going to drive, and you'll achieve everything that you desire to achieve in life. Keep God first. Be led, and he'll lead you straight to your destiny. And when you get there, you'll understand and you'll begin to appreciate the struggles that you've had to go through to get where you're going.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you. Thank you for coming to the Office Corner. And also Happy Easter to you.
Oh, Happy Easter, and thank you for having me. I truly appreciate this opportunity. It's not taken lightly. And I just pray that God continues to bless you abundantly in all that you're doing. Everything that you desire as well. I just speak blessings upon your life, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me.
Thank you. Me as well. And like I say, keep God first. So basically, just like Anthony Pathfire, she's driven and she has a goal, and she's teaching you how to follow your dreams. To learn more about her, log on to www.artistlife.com/Shamekia Dean. When we come back, we'll round it all out with Romona Jackson.
When we come back, we'll round out the conversation with Romona Jackson. But first, check out an important word from H.D. Campbell.
I want to talk to my younger aspiring writers for a minute. I want to let you guys know that when I was about 12, I couldn't afford a computer, and I didn't get a typewriter to my senior year of high school. So I used notebooks. I filled them up with stories beyond stories. There's nothing wrong with notebooks. They're great. You don't have to worry about them crashing, nor do you have to worry about losing everything after writing a good story. So basically, don't count out the notebooks. Check out all the latest titles from HD Camera Productions before the new title is released. There's something for everyone. Have a romance, track down a killer, or stop an international incident. Check all of my titles at your favorite bookstore or at Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, or discounted at the online marketplace section at www.htcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
What is H.D. Campbell Production, you ask? It's a collective of editing services, books, promotion, and more. Find out more about these services in addition to shows and columns at www.htcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Have you checked out the Author's Corner lately? It's the best show you're not watching. Every 2 weeks, we bring you author interviews, news, and the best of the industry. The special guest is no one that's the fastest growing show around. There are two ways to check me out. Log on to my website at www.hdcampbell3.net or my YouTube channel at hdcampbell1230. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Welcome back to the Author's Corner with H.D.
Welcome
Campbell.
back to the Author's Corner. Day's winding down, and we're going to end the day with Romona Jackson. Romona is a playwright with a very inspiring play. She has a very powerful message. She does a lot of speaking engagements, and she will have a book coming out soon. But first, let's get to know Romona Jackson.
Writing for me, I started back when I was in 6th grade, and I loved poetry. Writing was an expression, a form of expression for me. I'm an only child, so one of the things that I needed to discuss or wanted to relate to people, I always wrote it down. And one of my teachers realized, and she called me Gwendolyn Brooks. I was a budding Gwendolyn Brooks, and she actually kept feeding into it. And it's something that I developed a passion for, and I just kept doing it.
Okay, all right. Well, before we get into your ultimate project, have you published any books or poetry or anything like that?
I've dabbled a little in poetry and got a little stuff posted on, poetry.com. Got a few things done there, a lot of things done at the school that I went to. A lot of things were published in those type of publications, but haven't penned my book yet, but I have it hopefully coming down the line in about maybe a couple of years or so. Okay,
that's fine. And how long have you been writing?
I have been writing, since 6th grade? So if I say how long, it has got to be well over 30 years.
Oh, I love that.
Well over.
I love that. I love that. So my next question to you is, since you've got, dubbed as a budding Gwendolyn Brooks, is Gwendolyn Brooks one of your influences? And if not, and if she is or not, and do you have any more influences?
She is. I followed her a lot when I was younger, and I love, Maya Angelou. I love the way that what she represents, and as like a whole bunch of writers, there's not one that I can say yes, that's my absolute favorite. It will run the gauntlet of a lot of people, depending upon the style of what I'm reading on that that particular moment. So definitely, I have some influences. Okay.
So now, before I go to the present, I need to ask this. What actually? How can I put this? Why writing? Of all the things you could be doing, why writing?
Why writing? I think writing is, to me, the most purest form of expression, because it takes a lot of thought. It takes time. I mean, for a person to sit down and write something to another person, it really means that they really have something that they want to express. You can say anything, but to be able to write it, you have to be able to know how to articulate. You have to be able to know how to communicate, so that when that person that you're writing to gets that information, they understand. They'll be able to feel your heart. They'll be able to feel exactly what it is that you were trying to relay. And I think writing is beautiful. People can always go back. I mean, I can go back to stuff that I've written way back in elementary school, and it still dogs certain feelings. Writing captures a lot that cannot be erased. It's like once you chronicle something in writing, it really can't change it. You can't change the integrity of it. A person can say something down the line, and it could be all misconstrued, but when you write it, it is like solidified. It's concrete, and that's just my opinion. So that's why I loved it, because you can't misconstrue that.
Okay. Well, my next question is, I'm bringing you back to the present.
Okay.
Give me the origins of True Vine Productions.
The origin, it dates back actually to my Florida A&M days. I was a promoter of concerts, gospel concerts. that's my background. I did radio, did a lot of radio, and emceed a lot of concerts, and I promoted a lot. So I promoted a lot of gospel concerts back up in Tallahassee, and that's where True Vine was birthed, from that. And it's an umbrella that's going to house a whole bunch of different things, but it actually got started back in Tallahassee with my first concert that I put on in the Lee Hall Auditorium. It was a Black History Month collegiate explosion where I had all of the college choirs from FAM to BCU all come together for one night, one show, and it was phenomenal, and that's where it started.
Okay. And what other events does True Vine work on?
We plays is another major hub. We're going to also be putting on several conferences, actually 2 conferences this year, a prayer conference and a worship conference we're going to be doing in this area. And we're also going to be working on doing a lot of like Christian First Fridays where the Christian network area can get together for networking, and kind of like what they do in the secular end for First Fridays. We're just going to put like a Christian spin to it, and a lot of youth events because my heart is also for youth. So I want to do a lot of back to school things for the youth as well, and give them some direction as far as like with concerts and different things like that. So we're going to dabble in a lot of different forms of entertainment.
Okay. I'll get back to the conferences and everything in a minute. Are there any plays? Have you written any plays that's under True Vine Productions?
Yes, I actually performed, debuted actually my first play back June 3rd and 4th and 5th in Gainesville called Train Up a Child. That was the first play, and the play was written back in 2010. And it was brought to life in June of 2011. And we debuted that back in Gainesville, Florida. And it was absolutely, positively a success. And that let me know that I'm working in where I need to be, in my wheelhouse. I'm in my wheelhouse doing that. So that's why we have another one coming up now.
Oh, I love that. I love that. If you can, give me a brief synopsis of Train Up a Child.
Train Up a Child focused on the lives of 3 young children, I would say, and they grew up. It showed them when they were teens, and it was, if you know, in the Bible, it speaks about train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart. That was the basic premise. We had parents that tried to make their children be more because they were preachers' children, and they had an image that they need to portray in the eyesight of others. So they made a lot of pressures and put a lot of pressures on their kids. So when children grew up and got ready to go away to college, they had a choice between, okay, am I going to break away or am I going to stay with what I was taught? So it faced them, put them in situations like what would they do with peer pressure, how would they handle different things, and every circumstance that they went through, the word was brought back to them as a child. So they had like, what can I say, like their inner child would visit them during those circumstances and remind them of the word. So it was really cool, and a lot of people were able to go in and come back to me and say, well, you know what, I saw myself in that mother, and because of how she handled it, I'm going to handle my children a little bit differently. And that's the whole purpose of doing these shows, that people can actually see themselves and maybe make a difference and change something.
Okay. In all of the events True Vine puts together, how much of a presence Romona Jackson make? Well, I guess what I'm asking is, how much does Romona Jackson put into her the different things she puts together?
As far as like my presence, it's 100%. Start to finish. When I do it, I write, I do everything. Like all my plays, I write, I direct, I produce, I write all of the music. And as far as like anything else, you never see me on the stage until the very end. But as far as all of the creative things that go to bring everything together, it's all me.
Okay. If I wanted to learn a little bit about True Vine Productions, how would I go about doing so?
You visit the website at TrueVine2011.com.
Okay.
You will be able to find out a whole lot, and also the Facebook page at True Vine Productions LLC.
Okay. Is there anything coming up?
Yes, actually, Saturday, April 20th in the Orlando area, I will debut my second play, which is Me, Myself, and God.
Cool. Okay. Give me a brief synopsis of that one.
That one is a story about a young lady who is trying to be everything for everyone, and in the process, she loses herself. So now we're following her on her journey of getting back to self and getting back to doing the things that she wants to do while fulfilling her call that the Lord has on her life. So we're watching this person be able to handle all the hats and put it all in one place and be able to be ultimately what she wants to be without sacrificing anything.
Okay, well, I'm about to pick on you for a second because of something you just said.
Pick on me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to pick on you for a second. Now you said you're not at the end of the stage, the very end. You mean you're not even acting in any of these plays?
No. I never saw myself doing that. I'll act in other people's things, but as far as myself, we have so many different people that are gifted and talented and anointed to do these things that it's a platform for them. And it brings me pleasure to see them bring to life what I wrote. That is like the greatest joy, to sit there in the front row and watch them bring my words that were just like on black and white, bring them to life. So that's where I get my joy. I don't think I'll have the same effect if I was up there. We want to do the same thing.
You just brought up anointing. I'm going to say something. I want you to tell me what you think about it. Everyone brings out the message in their own way. I believe you bring out the message in what you do through True Vine, especially in your plays. Was that an accurate statement?
Was that a natural statement?
Is that an accurate statement that you bring out in other words, you bring out your anointing through all that you do? Because this is what I see.
Yep, that's true. That's a very good statement.
Because I'm looking at all that you do. I'm looking at all of your events. And what it is more like it starts out from your calling to write, and you're looking to want to do more to elevate, and to also be of help to all that you touch. Because you mentioned earlier about the youth, pretty much. Tell me about your work with the youth.
I've always had a heart and a desire, because you have so many young people nowadays that are looking for people to be an example and to show them, especially young people that are in the church, because they're torn. They don't have as many role models, and they need help. And they've always flocked to me. I don't know why. Well, I guess I do know why. It's something that God put in me. But I believe that if we catch our youth while they're young and while they're hungry and while they're curious, and we fill them with those things that's going to be positive, I think we'll have less ills in the world. And I mean, that may sound kind of corny, but you can make a difference by just taking 5 minutes, spending 5 minutes with a child can make a difference in their life. That could be 5 minutes that they've never gotten before. And I didn't realize that until I actually looked back over my childhood and realized that, if I had that on a consistent basis, maybe some of the decisions that I made I would not have. So now I have a chance to redo something, per se, if you want to call it that, by feeding into another young person. And that's a mission that I have. To not let a young person feel like they're by themselves, or that they have nobody to turn to. So whatever outlets that we can give them that are positive, and if True Vine can play a part in that, we definitely want to do it 100%.
Okay. Okay. Well, with all that you do, I'm going to switch gears for just a second. With all that you do, what does Romona do when she's not working with True Vine Productions?
What does Romona do when she's not working? You can either find me watching some type of Food Network television show, or trying to find some type of water, a beach, a lake, or something, just to go and sit and unwind and relax. I'm pretty much of a homebody. If I'm not working with True Vine, I'm at home or doing something that's really calm, or like at a Dave and Buster's or a Disney World type of deal. Something really kind of corny or some kind of nerdy, but something that's far different from what I do every day.
I love that. Now, being in Florida, I bet that helps a lot.
Yeah, and you have family that has season passes that work at Disney that can let you get in anytime you want to. It's beautiful.
Well, I want to be a cousin. I'm just kidding. I'll be a cousin. No. So, do you have any conferences or anything lined up?
I'm looking at doing a prayer conference. I started a Facebook page called Prayer That Availeth Much, and the spinoff to that is going to be the conference. And I'm looking at doing that conference sometime in the fall. I'm looking at September, October of this year, and I'm really excited about that, and just trying to get the concept and everything, and getting some ideas of what a person wants to see when they come to a prayer conference. And to make sure that it's not a conference just to be, so someone can come get a T-shirt or have a nice little slogan, but that they can leave changed after they come from that conference. So that's what I'm working on.
So I really love that. So what's in the future for True Vine?
The future is prayerfully lining up to whatever God would have me to do, and I know that may sound cliche, but it's true. You can chart out your path and say, okay, this is what we want and this is what we want to do. But once you ask God, let your will be done, you never know which direction He's going to take you. So my thing is, as long as we're doing those things that's going to edify His kingdom and build His kingdom, that's what we want to do. So if it's conferences, if it's plays, if it's concerts, no matter what it is, as long as it's bringing edification to the kingdom, which is why it was purposed and created to begin with, that's what you'll find us doing. But I tell you this, we're going to be extremely busy. That's my goal.
Well, whatever you have as far as anything going on, just let us know, and we'll put it on the calendar and we'll promote it for you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That is no problem, my friend. And now my final question, and I ask this of everybody I've interviewed, is there any final words you want to give for people who have visions to write or have a calling to get to where you are right now?
Well, if I can say anything, is to trust God. And if you know without a shadow of a doubt that God has put something in you, go for it. Because there's a remnant of people that's waiting, but you have to impart. I believe that God gifts everyone, and the biggest gift that we can give back to God is by doing exactly what it is that He put in our heart to do. Because He has people waiting. And when we sit back on it, and when we don't move forward because of the opinions of others, or because we may be afraid, we are doing those people that are waiting on us an injustice. God is not going to leave His people hanging. He'll find somebody else that's going to be willing to do it. But He's given it to you, and He's gifted you. Go for it 100%. And I'm a firm believer that when God gives you a vision, He gives you provision. So you never have to worry about how it's going to get done. And that's what makes people, hesitant about going forward, because they don't know how, they're going to see it come all together. But as long as it comes from God and you've consulted Him and He's confirmed it, go forth 100% and watch God move.
You heard the final word from Romona Jackson. Let God move. Well, you heard from three very powerful people, very determined people, and I hope they all inspired you. Well, when we come next, I'll have my final word.
When we come back, HD's commentary and the final word.
So you believe the Bruce Williams story concluded in How to Lose a Black Woman? Well, Bruce Williams begs to differ. Find out what's been going on with Bruce Williams in the sequel titled Geraldine, coming soon. Check out an Author's Corner every 2 weeks. We will have the best from the literary world and beyond. You never know, it might show up. There are 2 ways to tune in, though. You can log on to my website at www.htcampbell3.net or my YouTube channel, 1230. Let your writing fuel your spirit. Check out all the latest titles from H.D. Campbell Productions before the new title is released. There is something for everyone. Have a romance, track down a killer, or stop an international incident. Check all of my titles at your favorite bookstore or at Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, or discounted at the online marketplace section at www.htcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Welcome back to the Office Corner with H.D. Campbell. I want to talk to you a little bit about rejection. When we first started out writing, some of us did. We wrote query letters that got rejected, they're not for you or what have you. Or you've actually showed your work to someone and they didn't like it because it wasn't their cup of tea or what have you. Well, let me go over a couple things with you. Number one, you can't show your work to everyone. And I just mean the regular person on the street. If you want to buy his opinion, give it to someone who's into that genre. Number two, if you get a rejection letter, I thought that this is a wonderful thing I saw on Facebook. When you finally publish your book, even if whether you do it by self-publishing or you do find a publisher that bite, send that publisher that rejected you a copy of their rejection letter along with your book. That is some of the best revenge ever. And I'm not even into revenge, guys. But know that rejection only makes you stronger. It's not that your book is bad or your story is bad. It's mainly due to the fact that that publisher for some odd reason or that person for some odd reason didn't like your work. Something's not for everyone. Well, that's the Author's Corner. Stay tuned in 2 weeks when I come back with 3 more authors. And stay tuned this summer for my crop of special shows. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to get my workout on. While I get my workout on, you let your writing fuel your spirit, and God bless.